Meanwhile, the White House faced with yesterday's deadline to show proof Trump Tower was wiretapped.
So the statutes authorize the President of the United States to order the surveillance of any person in the United States of America without suspicion, without probable cause, and without a warrant, meaning he doesn't have to go to a court to do it. So he can order the NSA, which already has the digital version of our phone calls, to transcribe the digital version into a transcript and give it to him. But if he does that, there's a record of the order.
Right.
So 3 intelligence sources have informed Fox News that President Obama went outside the chain of command. He didn't use the NSA, he didn't use the CIA, he didn't use the FBI, and he didn't use the Department of Justice. He used GCHQ. What the heck is GCHQ? That's the initials for the British spying agency. They have 24/7 access to the NSA database. So by simply having 2 people go to them saying, President Obama needs transcripts of conversations involving candidate Trump, conversations involving President-elect Trump, he's able to get it. And there's no American fingerprints on this.
So you're saying that the British used their version of the CIA to wiretap Donald Trump's phone or
Well,
tower?
it's not a wiretap. The concept of plugging a wire into a phone box in the basement of a building is what the law was when these statutes were written in 1978. Everything is done electronically now via computer. The NSA has 24/7, 365 access to every mainframe computer of every telecom and every computer service provider that does business in the United States. And they share that with various intelligence agencies, including the Brits. So the British intelligence agency had this. What happened to the guy who ordered this?
Judge Andrew Napolitano commented on the morning show Fox and Friends that he has sources who say British intelligence was involved in surveillance at Trump Tower. Our White House team will have much more on that from the White House in just a moment. Fox News cannot confirm Judge Napolitano's commentary. Fox News knows of no evidence of any kind that the now President of the United States was surveilled at any time in any way. Full stop.
The way the intelligence community has been selectively concealing and revealing in a way to manipulate Donald Trump and to infuriate him and to embarrass him. It wouldn't surprise me if there are people in the intelligence community that might do the same to the former president if he throws them under the bus. There's a phrase in your introduction which has entered our parlance in the past month or so, but really has been around for many, many years, since 1947. The deep state. Right. The part of the government that never changes, no matter which party controls Congress and which party is in the White House. There are many, many aspects of the deep state. We're talking about the intelligence community deep state. People in the intelligence community that have access to so much information about everyone. They can manipulate the President of the United States. And if they don't like what he says, they can embarrass him. And if they want to control his thought patterns and decision-making, they'll keep information away from him. Donald Trump has fallen victim to that, and he knows it, and he knows he has to stop it.
And this is his way of stopping it, by directly engaging on the issue, by saying exactly what, by the way, is inferentially provable throughout, whether it be the reporting of the New York Times.
His suggestion for a congressional investigation of the intelligence community is the last thing his enemies in the intelligence community want. Because if the American public learns that they have access to everything we type and everything we say, they will be repulsed by the power that this deep state group has, that Congress gave them. They didn't create this on their own. Right. Congress enacted 3 pieces of legislation, which, with perverse interpretations of this legislation before a secret court, lets them gather everything we say in real time.
Is there any doubt in anyone's mind? Have we got a list of the number of instances in which the Obama administration has gone beyond the pale in surveilling, in tapping phones, in reading computer data and messaging. We do not have that.
They tapped the phones of our colleague, Jimmy Rosen, and eventually admitted that they were wrong when Rosen exposed them.
And journalists of the Associated Press. And people forget this. Dianne Feinstein, then the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, in 2014, they are still looking at the reality. The CIA went in and surveilled the computers of the Senate and Intelligence Committee.
You had spies spying on each other.
Well, yes, but what you had was the executive branch and the CIA spying on the Senate of the United States, which is beyond any kind of acceptable. So if anybody thinks that if you'll surveil journalists, if you will spy on U.S. senators, why would they hesitate to spy the Obama administration on a presidential candidate?
Great argument. Throw in generals in the Pentagon and justices in the Supreme Court. One of the FISA court warrants that I saw was, quote, for every customer of Verizon in the United States. That's 113 million people, including most of the federal government.
The metadata that the NSA was collecting under precisely that direction. It's unbelievable. But less so, I think, these days, because we are just seeing example after example. Going back to the judge's reference to the deep state, what we're looking at is a deep state that goes well beyond the intelligence community, but also now, for the first time, has in prospect the active leadership of the immediate predecessor to the Oval Office, and that is Barack Obama, who's bringing his leadership, that of many of his administration, and the Organization for Action with an estimated more than 30,000 activists.
But the deep state has a very wide and shrewd adversary, the man in the Oval Office.
You better believe it.
First time in the modern era that the man in the Oval Office has been an adversary of the deep state and rather than a tool of it.
Absolutely.